Hello students, welcome back to Logistics in Manufacturing, Supply Chain and Distribution, Unit 4, Part 3. So for the Unit 4, this is the last part. So what is distribution channel? So a distribution channel is also known as a marketing channel. It's a set of interdependent organization or intermediaries which is involved in the process of making a product available for the consumption. A channel directs the flow of products from producers to customers. So there are two things. First thing is like a push strategy uses the manufacturer's sales force, trade promotion money, and other means to induce intermediaries to carry, promote, and sell the products to the end users. Push strategy is appropriate where there is low brand loyalty in a category. Brand choice is made in the stores. The product is an impulse item, and the product benefits are well understood. So one of the best example for a push strategy product is like if you see mosquito bats is one of the biggest thing because in the very starting at all there is no bigger brand which is being producing them. It was a no brand product. So at that particular time it was a new product and innovative. It took the market just like that. So that is one of a product which you can use it for a push strategy. A pull strategy uses advertising, promotion, and other forms of communication to persuade the customers to demand the product from intermediaries. Pull strategy is appropriate when there is high brand loyalty and high involvement in the category. When people perceive differences between brands and when people choose a brand before they go to the store. For example, you can say mobile phones. If you say Samsung, iPhone, they have a pull strategy over here. If you see, if you see automobiles, you can see numerous number of brands are there. They use a pull strategy over there. That is, you can even in real time you can everyone has seen that. Even builders, different builders uses a pull strategy. They do advertising, promotions, communications to persuade their customers on. So this set of businesses do the pull strategy. So what are the categories of buyers? High involvement shoppers, high value deal seekers, variety of loving shoppers, habitual shoppers. So these are the various types of buyers over there. So what is the design of distribution channel? First thing what we have to do at every phase is analyze my customer needs. Wherever you go to any companies, you go to any service providers, you think the customer comes at the first because you need to analyze the customers. What do they require? What do they need? What is their expectation? Everything has to be taken into account. Following that will be the established channel objective. How my customers can be reached? Which channel is the best possible way? Because based on that particular product, how a channel's objectives is going to be determined. Identify the major channel alternative because one particular channel is not effective because like right now in this competitive hybrid channels has to be taken into account, right? So evaluate the major channel alternatives so that you can identify the uh, which distribution channel is much more effective. So this flow chart will state that how a design of distribution channel has to take place. So this is one of the bigger steps which is need to be addressed. Over here, let us see the levels of distribution channels. So first thing is manufacturer where he directly meets our consumer. So what kind of uh, product can be stated is if you see food manufacturing, there is a lot of hotels like manufacturers do their work, they can meet the consumers directly. Any kind of a small scale product can see to this. Next comes the level one. Manufacturer is going to manufacture, which is going to be given to a retailer. The retailer who's going to supply to the consumers, that is through different shops in a particular area. So that is a retailer perspective. Next thing you see is the level two manufacturer who's going to give it to a wholesaler. Wholesaler is going to be directed to the retailer and to the consumer. When you see over here, wholesaler, that is this particular wholesaler is going to retailer means If you see a lot of supermarkets, you can see different products have been jacked up over there. That is, a single product wholesaler will be there. Say, for example, take up a product like any kind of a product like a Harpic or like a Coca-Cola or anything. It will be given to a one wholesaler person who's gonna collect from the directly from the manufacturer to that entire area. So he's gonna do that distribution over to the retailer. This retailer is going to be distribution distributed to different shops or to the consumers directly. So this is one of the important level which is being effectively utilized. Then comes your third level. Third level is for higher, bigger manufacturers like medicine manufacturers and all, which is distributed to a wholesaler, then to a jobber, followed by a retailer, then to the consumers. Because we know that if you take medicine, a manufacturer, like for example, Cipla is one of the biggest manufacturers. Cipla cannot directly give it to a jobber or retailer, so it transports its products to a wholesaler. That wholesaler is going to do a distribution to the jobber, or to a retailer. So this particular jobber who is going to control the different types of, so many jobbers will be there for different types of products. Then it is sent to a retailer. This retailer follows to a pharmacy or any kind of an output area so that the consumers can get their products from there. So these are the four levels of distribution channel which we need to look into, because based on the manufacturing complexity and the manufacturing number of products to the complexity of the product, the level is going to be different. Any levels could be chosen based on the complexity of their products and sales and distribution. When you think about the third level, mostly for international process or international markets and all, this third level will be much utilized. So here we're going to see the functions of distribution channel. So gathering the information is one of the major function of any distribution channel. Develop and disseminate persuasive communication. Reach agreements on price and terms. Acquire funds to finance the inventories. Assumes what are the risks involved. Provide for storage. Provide for buyers payments of their bills. Oversee actual transfer of ownership. So over here, when you see about the gathering the information, any set of information from the consumer side has to be gathered so that how a distribution channel will be effective. Reaching agreement on price and terms is one of the major aspects, because when you think about manufacturing cost, operation cost, how different cost is going to be available when the levels of distribution channels is increased. Because when you talk about different levels, definitely there is a margin kept by a wholesaler, by a jobber, by a retailer, then to the customer. That point, what percentage of price has to be fixed, for whom what percentage has to be given, that agreement has to be taken into account, because that plays an important role so that the consumer is not is coming for the particular brand or not. Because of not reaching a proper agreement on price and terms will lead to the lose of customers. So before that, acquiring funds to finance those inventory is also important thing, because if you want to start up a distribution channel, you need proper funds so that you can have the inventories without any problem. Assume those risks, because risk is something which is being has to be taken into account, because when you do a distribution channel for a food product, definitely the timeline is one of the huge risks which has to be taken into account. Then if you take any textile or any products like that, your trend has to be taken into as a risk. If you take medicine or medical field, your date of expiry is to be taken. If you take rice or any paddy, the fluctuation of price has to be taken into. So every type of risk has to be addressed to a different products. These risk assessment has to be taken. Provide for storage is one also the next phase, because this storage also becomes a huge risk for us. Provide for buyers payment of their bills is quite like a agreement which you need to put on so that when and how the payment of their bills are being done. overseeing the actual transfer of ownership is also is needed. So how a distribution channel decisions is being taken? Selecting channel members, training the channel members, motivating the channel members, evaluating channel members, and modifying the channel members. So channel members is nothing but not an employee, but a different type of members has to be taken into account. So how you select them, how you are going to train them is more important, because different persons are much more efficient at different places. So that you have to identify while selecting it. So motivating them is an important fact. How to motivate is like how you can do a business, how you can market up your products has to be done. Evaluating different channel members is also necessary, whether that particular retailer or wholesaler is good for your product or not. So keep it always flexible so that you can keep on modifying your channel members. So that is an important aspect. So this decision making has to be more important when you select up a channel member, right? So then marketing systems. Now we're going to see about marketing, how a marketing is one of the biggest way to market down the consumers. A conventional marketing system comprises an independent producer, wholesalers, and retailers. So when you talk about VMS, a vertical marketing system, by contrast, comprises the producer, wholesaler, and retailer acting as an unified system over here. One channel member, the channel caption, owns the other, franchise them, or has so much power that they all can cooperate at a given point. VMS arose as a result of strong channel members' attempts to control the channel behavior and eliminate the conflict that results when independent members pursue their own objectives. VMS achieves economies through size, bargaining power, elimination of duplicated service. This is one of the major aspects of VMS. Because of its size, it can bargain at a bigger power. Elimination of duplicated service can be eliminated. Corporate VMS combines successive stages of production and distribution under single ownership. So, administered VMS is coordinated successive stages of production and distribution through the size and power of one of those members. Manufacturers of a dominant brand are able to secure strong trade cooperation and support from the resellers. So, next is we have seen the VM. So, now you see the horizontal relationship includes those business agreements between firms that are parallel or cooperating positions in the logistic process. Transactional is both parties in a vendor relationship are said to be at the arm's length, so that the transactional marketing is done at a easy manner. Collaborative, collaborative, the relationship suggested by a strategic alliance is one in which two or more business organizations cooperate, willingly modify their business objectives and practices to help achieve long-term goals and their objectives. If you see, collaborative is more like an hybrid format, so that it makes a strategic alliance so that every set can be introduced into a marketing system and easily to achieve the long-term and objectives. Strategic represents an alternative that may imply even greater involvement rather than the partnership or strategic alliance. So relationship may differ in numerous ways. So how does a relationship is going to vary for different ways is like based on the duration. What is the obligation between each company? So how what they have to give up and what the other company has to gain and all. What is the expectation of both the concerns? Interaction and communication is one of the key phase because they serve the biggest bridge so that their relationship might not be in downfall. Cooperation between those two has to be taken into account so that both the relationships are being both relationships is maintained at a good arm's length. Planning ahead is more important. Defining the goals is much more better so that the relationship is very much strong. Performance analysis has to be done. What is the benefits and burdens has to be bared by both the systems has to be uh, clear cutly discussed so that it is been on the paper so that their relationship is not uh, affected by it. What is the need of collaborative relationship? So as we discussed, vertical collaboration refers to relationship between buyer and supplier. Horizontal refers to the buyer to buyer or seller to seller relationship. Because you have seen, you have gone to a shop, you ask for say, a particular product at a particular variant. It is not there, but they what they do is they contact the other shop, other buyer, they'll get you a product so that the brand is not lost over there. If you see mostly in mobile phones and all, this will happen. So that our collaboration is much needed at every level. But it could be a vertical, it could be horizontal, but that collaborative relationship has to be maintained. Full collaboration is the dynamic combination of both vertical and horizontal collaboration. That is different. The buyer and supplier of a particular product, different sellers can be uh, pulled into that dynamic duo combination so that everyone is stating that the demand is met at any given point. So what is channel conflict? Because we have discussed about collaboration, definitely there is going to be a conflict, right? So channel conflict occurs when one member's actions prevent another channel from achieving its goal. So that is one of the important things. So types again, vertical, horizontal, and multi-channel will be there. So what are the causes? Goal incompatibility, because goals of the different members is not compatible with other. Unclear roles and rights. This has to be stated at the very beginning itself so that uh, the members know what are their roles and what are their rights and responsibilities. Difference in perception, because every company is going to have a different view on the market. So it has to be clearly stated what we are looking and what we are expecting from them. Intermediate dependence of the manufacturer. So that has will give a bigger cost on the channel of conflicts. So strategies for managing those channel conflict, what we have seen. So adoption of super ordinate goals, that is one single set of a goal so that it can be achieved by both the parties. Exchange of employees, joint membership in trade associations, that is most important thing. Uh, Trade associations in the joint membership is one of the most common practice right now used. Co-optation, diplomacy, mediation, arbitration, legal recourse. So these are the various ways where you can manage those channel conflicts. So what is the franchising? So everyone knows about franchising. So there is no need of a bigger discussion because franchising is a system of individual franchises, a tightly knit group of enterprise whose systematic operations are planned, directed, and controlled by the operation franchisor. For example, the franchisor owns a trade or service mark and it is being licensed to the franchisees in return for royalty payments. The franchisee pays for the right to be part of the system. The franchisor provides his franchisee with a system for doing business. One of the biggest example what we can see is McDonald's. So it is a franchising system. So if you take up any, go to any McDonald's or any KFC or any kind of a marketing product, when you go over there, you can see the same type of setup in the kitchen will be over there because that is being provided by the McDonald's because that is their way of doing their business. That is in a franchise, the franchisor is going to supply us those set of products so that how the product has to be produced and how it has to be served to the customer. So everything is a single set of a term over there. So we have to see what type of wholesalers are there, right? So we have merchant, full service, limited service, brokers and agents, followed by the manufacturers because they are the one of the biggest wholesalers if you ask me. So followed by the specialized. Specialized is something service providers, which are those who are specialized at giving at one place. Especially in building up an aircraft is one of the comes under the specialized wholesalers. So what are the functions of wholesalers? Selling and promoting, buying and assortment building, bulk breaking, warehousing, transportation, financing, risk bearing, market information, management service, and counseling. So these are the various types of functions for a wholesaler. Order processing, that is, it can be submitted in many ways by mail, telephone, through sales, or via computers because we have found out ERP and MRPs and all right. Order processing systems prepare invoices and order information that the warehouse receives the instruction to pack and ship the order item, and bills are being sent out. So with this, we are winding up our fourth unit. So thank you guys.